So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys 5 tools that I have been using the last couple of weeks that has made my bike maintenance experience a whole lot better. We've been having a super smoky summer here in Missoula, so when I'm not riding, I've taken up the new hobby, I guess, of maintaining my bikes. But let's get into it. So the first tool I'm going to talk about isn't a tool per se, but it makes a whole experience of working on your bike a lot better. And it is this guy, the Park Tool HBH3. So it is a handlebar holder. And the problem this solves is, when you have your bike on the stand, there's a tendency for this front end to flop around. And it gets really frustrating when you're adjusting brakes or tying on handlebar tape. And this really gets rid of that issue. It's fully adjustable in length, and these end pieces articulate, and you attach it to your handlebar or your stand or another part of the bike with these silicone straps. So I'll show you how this works. I think I'm going to anchor this end on the stand. And then you take this end, line it up with your handlebars, wrap the silicone strap down, and then tighten it down. So this will hold your handlebar straight regardless of what position you end up putting your bike. This thing is super nice. It will work with any bike stand out there on the market, so not specific to Park, but just a brilliant and simple tool. A few videos ago, I talked about how I started taking bike maintenance more seriously, in particular, taking care of the drivetrain. And one of the key tools you'll need to do that is some sort of chain checker. So again, this is another Park Tool product. I actually bought this from a bike shop in Ellensburg. And what this does is that it lets you measure the amount of wear you have on your chain, just to see where it is in its lifespan and should you change it later or immediately. It's funny, in like the 20 years I've been riding bikes, I've never owned a chain checker. I know, don't roast me in the comments. So it was quite a surprise to use this tool and put it on various bikes. The chain on the Craftsman Bora was completely worn, as was the chain on my Timberjack, which was pretty interesting because it has fairly low miles, but apparently a lot of the grit has just worn the chain away. So I really recommend getting some kind of chain wear checking tool. It doesn't have to be this one. Park Tool makes a few. Supposedly one of the most accurate ones are actually by Shimano because they're laser cut and super precise. This is what the bike shop in Ellensburg had, so this is the one I purchased. So the next tool is kind of a twofer because it doubles as a tubeless valve core stem as well as a tool to remove those cores. I've mentioned this product a couple times in some previous videos. Because I really like it, I bought 2 pairs of them. And it is the muck-off valve core stems with this kind of integrated tool to remove the core. So it functions like any other valve core, but the killer app or feature, if you will, are actually these stem caps. One of the stem caps is hollowed out and has a flat surface here, so you can use it to remove the valve core. It makes it super convenient to have the tool exactly where you would need to use it. And you would use this to remove the core if you're out on the trail and you have to top up on sealant, or if you're at home and need to blast some air through the valve. Super handy, and it's fun because it comes in a bunch of colors. I know it seems a little spendy for just a valve core, but if you look at getting a pair of valve cores plus an additional valve core removal tool, it's about the same, So the other tool that has made my life a heck of a lot easier, especially since I've been doing tire videos, is this Cool Stop tire jack. This tool is specifically for putting the tire on, not for removing it. So really handy when you get a brand new tire because they tend to be really tighter on that first installation. And the way that this tool works, it does take a little bit of practice, is that you'll notice that there are 2 arms. This one arm here is flat, and this is what you would use to loop around the bead of the tire. And this forked end goes onto the rim. And what happens is once you have this situated on the rim and this under the tire bead, you kind of pull this over and this will gently work the tire over the other side of the rim. This part isn't hooked, so the second that the bead goes over the rim, it releases the tire. And I find that this tool is a lot gentler to the rim than using just a regular tire lever prying the tire over the rim. It does take some practice, and it isn't magic. You do have to work your way in small increments until you get the tire fully seated. But it works well even with the fairly wide tires that I use. And lastly, no tool video would be complete without talking about some kind of wrench. And I decided to splurge the last couple of weeks and upgrade some of my T-wrenches. These are made by Park Tool, and they're actually a pretty interesting design. One thing is that there is this sleeve So as you're tightening something, you can kind of spin it on, just takes away that little bit of friction. So this is a nice feature to have when you're attaching things like the faceplate of your stem or your bottle cage. Another interesting feature is that you can move these around to various lengths. So if you have to torque down onto a tight space, you can adjust this length here. Another interesting trick that this tool has is, I'm going to call this the oh crap end. And this end is designed for if you've accidentally rounded out a bolt end. This part's kind of sloped, so this will let you engage it and loosen up that potentially rounded Allen bolt head. The complete set is pretty spendy, so if you don't want a spring for the whole thing at once, you can do what I did and buy them as you need them. For me, I knew that I would need all these features for every single size, so I just bought the 3, 4, 5 and the 6 to work with through axles. The 3, 4, 5 work great for things around the stem and the headset. One last thing about these T-wrenches is you'll notice the end here isn't that rounded kind of, I believe it's called the Bondus end. So you do have to be a little bit more square when you engage on a bolt. This is a great tool on older bike brake levers where you have to go in, reach really far and apply some torque and not round out the bolt. For example, the bolt that tightens the band of the brake is deep inside here. And I found that with a Allen tool with a rounded Bondus end here, I can't get quite enough torque without fear of rounding out that bolt. So these Park ones work well for that. Definitely an upgrade from just using a multi-tool. Yes, they're expensive, but like I said, you can buy them one by one as you need them. So what do you guys think of these tools? Are you guys using any of these? Let me know in the comments below. I'm gonna have affiliate links, so if you wanna help support the channel and stock up your bike repair kit as well, then check out those links. Also consider joining us on Patreon, where you get lots of perks and discounts and you help the content coming. Easy as that. Till next time, guys, keep the supple side down.